Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, and today we're taking a look at something unique. Now, if you've been subscribed to the channel or seen any of my other videos, you know that I always start with the name of the malware itself. However, we can't exactly do that because this malware is so new and so unique. Nobody has assigned a name to it yet. It has 4 detections. It's been out for about 25 minutes. And the only detections we have here are generic variants. We've got Wackapew from NTAVL and Microsoft, and Cryptic Gen from ESET and Rising. Now, to the 4 that have detected it, good job because no one else is, but they're not necessarily giving me anything to work with either. So here's what we have to do for this video. AV companies and cybersecurity experts don't like you attributing the name of the program or what the writer of the malware wants you to name it to the malware itself. They usually come up with their own names. However, as of right now, I have no other option. Now, if AV companies come out with a good variant name for this, I will change the title of this video to match that. But as of right now, we just have to call this ExLauncher. It's too new, and it has no name whatsoever. Now that that's out of the way, this is a 32-bit Trojan. And you'll get this when you look for Counter-Strike 2 hacks or Ark Survival Evolved. I think this was on the ExLauncher website. Don't go looking this up. And Rainbow Six Siege. And this is brand new. So if we take a look on VirusTotal, we do have our 4 detections. There's no point in looking at who doesn't detect it because the only big names I recognize here are Microsoft and ESET. I've never heard of NTAVL, and I've heard of Rising before, but they're not that well known, at least not to me. If we take a look at our tags, we've got portable executable, Bobsoft, checks user input, detects debug environment, and overlay. Now, if we go to details, we have your MD5, your SHA-1, and your SHA-256. This will be in the comments, so you don't have to go typing it on your own. And the creation time, which is always wrong, but we do also have the first submission, last submission, and last analysis dates and times right here. So as you can see, this is universal time. I am unfortunately using this virtual machine in Pacific, but this is less than 30 minutes old at the time of recording this right now. The only name it's been uploaded under is ExLauncher patch.exe, which is what I have. If we go to relations, there's only one contacted IP address, and this looks like a local IP. Matter of fact, who the heck is even detecting that? Let me take a look at that really quick. CRDFs flags that as malicious. Ignore that. If we go to behavior, I don't spend much time on behavior on this channel. You guys know that. However, even if we wanted to, there's nothing here. There's no flag detections in sandboxes. There's no IDS rules. There's not even any Sigma rules. There's 2 MITRE signatures, and that's it. And if we go to community, nobody has seen this yet. I have shared this with some experts in the TPSC Discord server, but that's about it. So if we'll go ahead and minimize this, I'm going to be showing the tools that are going to be used in this video. So we have Process Hacker, which is already set up for us. Wireshark, which I will reset right before we run the malware. Process Monitor, which, you know what, that already has 6.2 million events. I'm going to go ahead and just reopen that so it doesn't run out of memory or take an absurd amount of time to prepare each time I want to look at something new. And Zooey. But you may have also noticed something new on the taskbar. We have debloat. So this is actually a guest tool. This has not been seen on the channel before, and this was sent over by Ryaver on the TPSC Discord, and the reason I had to use this is because originally, the size of the malware itself is just large enough to where you can't upload it to VirusTotal. So if we try to drag this itself without debloating it, so let's go back to the home page and just try to drag it over. Max file size exceeded 650 megabytes. If we go to properties for this, it's 654 megabytes. So they've bloated it just enough to where it can't be uploaded to VirusTotal. Now, if we go to digital signatures on this, we do have one signature, and it does take quite a bit of time to load because it's such a large file. We've got RTools Technology Inc. It's a SHA-1 algorithm, and the timestamp was a week ago. If we go to details, this is an invalid signature. But apparently the email is office@r-tt.com. Don't go emailing any of these people. And if we go view certificate, the digital signature of the object could not be verified. I just wanted to look at that one first because it does actually assign a different certificate during the debloat process, so we couldn't look at it here. But if we take a look, we do have this. If I go to properties, we do have this condensed to 13.8 megabytes. And the digital signature, there is none. So that's fine enough. Let's go ahead and go back to the file. Okay, get out of my way. Because I do want to know if anything new is discovered or if any new AV companies are picking up on this by the end of this video. So far, it has not been reanalyzed, so what we'll probably do is I'll probably reanalyze it towards the end of the video and see if anyone else is picking up on this. And we'll also see if this has persistence, because I did not check that during testing, but what I got from testing is I very highly doubt it. But that's going to be it for the tools. We can go ahead and close debloat. We've already used it to debloat the file. We don't need it again. I did just want to show that this was used for that video. And that's going to be it on its own. So let's get this opened up. The last thing that we can do is just run the malware itself. So let's go ahead and open the ExLauncher folder. And we don't have to, but I'll go ahead and run it as administrator. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and do that. Do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Yes, I do. So immediately we see consent open, and we've got that file open over here with a different icon in c.exe. And we get a fake message here that says error opening registry key, software, JavaSoft, Java runtime environment. But as you can see, we do have more things popping up. We've got the more utility, and it's running console host. So this is obviously a fake message. And if we click OK, we get another error, could not find java.dll, and could not find Java SE runtime environment. So we click OK on that. We've got more.com. As far as I know, this is a legitimate tool. And we do have VBC running. That's Visual Basic Command Line. That is absolutely legitimate. I've just never seen more before. And it does open Microsoft Edge and immediately close it. So it's definitely doing some stuff there. But we can take a look at this more utility once everything is done. I don't want to take any attention off of Process Hacker yet because it's still doing things with the machine. And we've got AutoIt v3 script, which we've seen on the channel before, but it immediately kills itself. And that seems to be it with the malware. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and just shove this in the VirusTotal because I've never seen it before. And yeah, this does look like a legitimate .com file, so fair enough. Alright, and then the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and stop Wireshark. That is a ton of captured packets. We're going to save this as 1. I will start a new capture just in case something's running in the background, but I very highly doubt it. And we're going to shove this through Zooey. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops, sorry, wrong one. And we're going to go to import data and documents 1.pcap, and it's going to load for us. And while it does that, we'll take a look at process monitor. So we're going to do 2 things. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to do operation is create file. And then the second one we're going to do process name is, and then I'm going to have to copy that name. There's no way I'm going to be able to type it like that. And we're going to paste that here. Add and apply. Shouldn't take very long at all. We've only got 2.2 million events. And we do have 266 that show up under ExLauncher. Let's go ahead and close this really quick. I will put this in full screen. It did delete its prefetch, which is unfortunate. Oh, I'm expanding the wrong one. Let's expand path. There we go. So we've got some comctl DLLs. That's fine. I'm just looking for anything that immediately sticks out. But I will pay a little more attention than usual, just simply because there's not nearly as many events as there usually is. And remember, it did open things like more.com. So I will be analyzing that next, just to see if it created anything suspicious. So we are opening, or we're trying to open Internet Explorer, which is interesting enough. And we've got Twin API, that's fine. Not anything too suspicious that we could see on top. It's using MSI and bcrypt.dll. And it looks like we've got something new in roaming. And this is that nc.exe that showed up with the fake Java message. So it could be interesting to see if that did anything on its own. It is still here. As a matter of fact, if I try to shove that in VirusTotal as well, is it going to do anything? It has no detections, but a community score of -52 is crazy. File present on VX Underground, and Hamburglar downvoted it 2 days ago. Last analysis was 4 days ago. We could reanalyze it. It's very small, but I doubt we're going to get anything from it. But that seems to be about it. We do have another thing in the temp directory. So if we go there as well, we have all sorts of folders open. Okay, this is just a regular file. That wouldn't have created anything. So fair enough. But we'll go ahead and close that. And then next, I'm going to do nc.exe. And then after that, we'll do the more.com. Although I'm kind of doubtful more.com will actually show anything. We're going to do nc.exe. I'm not sure if this will show anything either. So if it doesn't, just be prepared. But it looks like it did. Okay. And yeah, there's no detections on this, so we'll just go back to our original file. All right, is there anything else that just immediately sticks out when I look at this? We've just got java.dll, textshaping.dll, and it did actually delete these, which is unfortunate. There is a possibility that those don't actually have anything to do with like a supporting Java DLL, and it could just be a malicious file. Unfortunately, no way to tell because it did delete itself. But it is what it is. Okay, not anything too suspicious on its own. I'm not seeing anything new. I am a little skeptical of the java.dll, especially being in bin and JRE bin in an eserv folder. But, I'll let you draw your own conclusions on that. And then we're going to do more.com, which I'm fairly certain won't pull anything up, but can't say I'm not thorough. And it did. Look at that. Okay. We got conhost.exe, that's console host. Not anything too suspicious on its own here. We've got a new folder, kajekbu, and then we've got the Visual Basic command line, so we'll go to this one. And then we'll go, to the next one. And it does look like, unfortunately, this has been deleted. And just to show that I have hidden folders turned on, we do have hidden items checked. I'll go ahead and uncheck it and check it again. But it's not going to do anything. So let's close that. And let's go over to this folder. And unfortunately, it's not going to be here. I will try this VBC, though. No guarantee that'll be there either, but again, nothing if not thorough. And we do have the VBC. So this is a legitimate file. It is under the Microsoft.NET framework. So we will see if that created anything. It is possible. We'll try that one more time, and then I think we're going to be at a dead end with this. Well, not necessarily a dead end, because we did find some very interesting things out about how this runs and what it does, but, you know, nothing that just immediately screams anything. We'll go ahead and delete more.com, we'll click OK, and no, it did not actually create any files. So I'm not too sure what it did then. I've got a feeling if I remove this operation, it's going to give like 9 billion events, but didn't actually seem to do anything. Oh, because I have .com. Might help if I actually gave that the right extension. So let's go ahead and do the operation again. Yeah, that's totally not embarrassing or anything. I'm gonna go back over here. Yeah, vbc.exe. There we go. So we do have 867 events. So there could be more things here that are just hiding. We do have some DLLs that have been deleted that I've not seen before. So they're either not common or they were created for the sole purpose of this malware. More likely that it's just not common. is the reason I haven't seen it before. But this malware, as we've seen already, is pretty unique. So it's anybody's guess. WBIM service, fast procs, and here we go. So it looks like this is actually doing something that's reminiscent of other malware samples we've taken a look at before. So this could be attributed to, what's the ones I'm thinking about? I can't think of the names right off the top of my head, but we've actually seen this several times. Luma and Quasar. Those are the two that I was trying to think of. So we've got Ethereum, Exodus, Ledger Live, Atomic, Koinami, Authy Desktop. So it's not just going after your crypto. It's going after everything. Bitcoin, Binance, Electrum, IndexedDB, Garda, Dashcore, Wasabi Wallet, or Wallet Wasabi, Daedalus Mainnet. Now, that sounds really cool. We got Chrome stuff, Opera Software, Opera GX, Edge, Cryptbase, and then we've got a bunch of local extension settings. So if we keep scrolling down, we should see more about... here's another browser. Yeah, here's our browser list. Okay. So we got Brave, Epic, Vivaldi, Maxthon, Iridium, AVG, Tencent, 360, Super Browser, Scent Browser, Shaydot, Cock, Mozilla, and then Waterfox and Moonshot Productions Pale Moon. What really surprises me is with these kinds of malware, we never see anything targeting, not Vivaldi, what's the Yandex browser? Because I've been seeing a lot more of that lately too. Apparently it's quite popular in certain parts of the world, but I never see it on these lists. And this one is actually looking for your password managers. So this one's a little bit different from what we've seen so far from Luma and Quasar on this channel. So we got 1Password, Bitwarden, which is what I use, NordPass, and we have some other things as well. So it is detecting everything that's on the computer itself on the top level. And it looks like it's scanning them multiple times, and we shouldn't see anything else that really sticks out at this point. Oh, here we go. We got Telegram Desktop. Gizler, here's your here's your FTP client. So FileZilla, Gizler, 3D FTP, Smart, a bunch of other ones, Commander Deluxe, OpenVPN. I've said this before, the people that are going to be affected by this most likely aren't going to be using FTP clients or even VPNs, but okay. So we got NordVPN, ProtonVPN, AnyDesk. We've got Azure and Amazon Web Services, which is just completely ridiculous at this point. The Bat. We've seen this before. The Bat. Then we got Concept World Notezilla, which I've never seen before. Pmail, Mailbird, EM Client, Thunderbird, Notepad++, Discord, and we got some more roaming.piffs. And that is about it. So these are the things that it's actually sending off. Very reminiscent of things like Luma. So I would definitely be including that in a report on the TPSC Discord, because I'm not really sure where else to post things like this. And that will be it for our Process Explorer. Now, if we take a look at Zooey, which absolutely should be done, and it is, we have 14,000, we have 1,480 rows. Let's go ahead and maximize this really quick, and we can most likely, oh, here we go. ET info suspicious domain, wildcard.icu, and TLS-SNI. What is .icu? That's interesting. .icu top level domain. Stands for ICU, registers catchy domain extension to make a lasting impression. What? Is a generic top level domain that can be used for any type of website. Okay, so it... Alright. Fair enough. But it looks like we've got 2 for these. Potentially bad traffic. I'm not sure why it immediately jumps out for that, though. And this is from Microsoft. You can tell by the 20 IP, so we'll ignore that notice. Is there any alert ones that immediately just say, like, Quasar rat activity or anything like that? Well, here we go. We've got a 52. So an invalid certification, brain. Thank you. And I don't think we're going to be getting much else. We do have some more notices. That's a Microsoft IP. This is not a Microsoft IP as far as I could tell. So there you go. Action add geodata. We got a bunch of HTTP stuff going on right now. So oh, here we go. I did not see this in testing. ET policy portable executable or DLL Windows file download HTTP. Potential corporate privacy violation. Didn't see that in testing. And we've got ET hunting suspicious dotted quad host MZ response. Potentially bad traffic. Very interesting indeed. I'm going to ignore the notices because there's just going to be more invalid certifications. We can take a look at this, but I already know it's outplay wrong direction. Yeah. Doesn't mean anything to us. So I will actually go back and look at this in Wireshark. Once we're done looking here, which we are, I'm going to stop this, save it as 2, just to make sure that it's not doing anything in the background. 99.9999% sure that it's not, but again, thorough. Let's go ahead and file, open, and 1.pcap. And we're going to take a look at anything with HTTP protocol. 183 packets. Okay, I thought I said 82,000. I was like, yeah, I don't know about all that, Chief. So it looks like we are trying to pull some things from Microsoft. So if we go to this, we're going to download windowsupdate.com. Okay, this may just be a Windows Update thing, so possibly a false alarm. Okay. And we've got some certificate authorities. CA cert code signing root. Interesting. Okay, nothing too suspicious. Oh, that's a lot. I think these are fine. I don't think there's anything too suspicious here. Definitely not anything that immediately makes me go out and just, you know, click. But, it was worth taking a look at. And we have 841 rows here. My god, that's a lot of fin, one fin with wrong sequence. Doesn't really matter. Not gonna affect us in any way. Why are you expanded? Hello? Okay, I don't know why some of these have been pre-expanded for me. Congratulations, you have been pre-approved for looking at Alert 3. Just to make sure this isn't on the certification failed. I think that's the last 52 IP that we saw earlier, but even if it's not, it's a similar one, so maybe something to keep in mind. We've got some DHCP activity, and that's about it. Alright then, fair enough. And I guess the last thing that we're going to do at this point is we're going to restart the virtual machine and see if this holds any persistence. At this point, I'm kind of willing to bet money that it's not. Well, here's the thing. Because Quasar and Luma, 99.99% of the time are like unedited. They just put their own like special names on it when they buy it off of like dark web marketplaces. And they don't actually add any functionality to it. This being kind of a unique malware sample, it's possible that it has persistence and runs those checks on startup. But I wouldn't hold my breath. Is there anything I'm missing? We did Zooey, we did Process Explorer, Wireshark, Process Hacker. We're good on that. Let's go ahead and restart the virtual machine. And while this restarts, I'll go ahead and let you know, if you've noticed me stuttering a little more than usual, I have been awake for 43 hours. Why have I been awake for 43 hours? I don't know. I just can't sleep. I'm a little loopy right now, but I'm trying to lock in and make a video because it's been a couple days, and this is really cool. So we're going to jump in immediately. We're going to put in our password, go to malware analysis, go to process hacker, boom, 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 minimize. We got some artifacts from what looks like command prompt, but that's fine. It's not too suspicious on its own. I did not mean to close that, process hacker. Thank you. I meant to maximize that. And if it was going to do anything that would make me think it's running malware in the background, I feel like I would have seen it already. But we're not seeing anything here. There is one more last thing that we're going to do, though. So I'm going to leave this open until we're done with it, and then we'll take one more look. But I'm going to open Firefox. Let's go ahead and open that. Oh, it must have just updated. Okay. And it did. Firefox has updated. So we're going to go back to VirusTotal, and we're going to reanalyze this and see if anything new has detected it. or if any new information has been discovered. So we'll reanalyze it. Shouldn't take too long. And while it's doing that, we could also go in Wireshark and just look manually for malicious IPs. So let's go to 1.pcat. Is there anything immediately jumping out to me? We got a bunch of connections from 13, but that's fine. A 96.7 is interesting. 192.74.125. Possibly the 7.4. We've got a lot of activity going back and forth on TCP and TLS 1.2. If I was going to call any of these IPs malicious, it would be the 7.4. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm confident enough in that to just go ahead and shove this back into both abuse IPDB and Whois. So let's go to 7.4 computer. Let's go to 7.4.125.3446. It was reported 72 times, and this is a Google IP address, Mountain View, California. We have received reports of abusive activity from this IP address within the last week. It is potentially still actively engaged in abusive activities. So SSH login attempts with user root, bot invasion verification, bad web bot, and we've got more login attempts with user root. This doesn't mean anything. We just ignore that. The user root, hacker syslog review, hacker syslog review again. We've got a port scan. Interesting. It looks like an aggressive one as well. So that's interesting enough. It doesn't really tell us much. Of course, now that we know it's a Google domain, we're not going to get much out of it, because it's just going to say, whoa, this came from Google. Like, no duh. But if we take a look here, yeah, it's just going to tell us stuff about Google LLC. So we see that it's got the same amount of detections. If we go to relations, same stuff. Details, not really much new. And that's gonna be about it for this video. There's not really much else to cover here. And there's really nothing else new in, well, there isn't anything new in behavior. So it's probably going to be a while before this kind of like just expands onto the front page, but I'm glad I was able to review it with you guys before it became really cool mainstream malware. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if there's anything I did not do that you want to see in future testing. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing, and I will see you in the next one.